my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're doing really good. And besides, I hope you're being kind to yourself and others, your loved ones, the ones that are there supporting you. Plus, to be kind to people out in public. And I know we just had Thanksgiving, but it shouldn't just stop at Thanksgiving Day. We should be kind and grateful all the time. And I know we're not going to always be perfect, and I know we're going to have our days, but really, that's something that we all should work on, is being kind to ourselves and others and being grateful for everything you have. So anyway, besides taking good care of yourself and loving yourself, I hope that you're really being kind to your children and eating healthy, plus working on yourself, being that change that you want to see in the world. So anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, you could find me on YouTube, and that is Starlight, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K, Dingman. Anyway, I am going to start this new topic in a new video, and right now it's about 4 in my area. So I am going to talk to you about something different. And I don't know, like, what kind of jobs you've had since you started working, and, like when you were younger. Starlight started working when I was before a teenager, and that was, like babysitting. So I started off with my first job would have been a babysitter, and after that, I probably shouldn't tell you what I was doing after that. So put it this way, it was not legal. But there's all kinds of jobs out there that you have had in your past, and really it's so important to how your bosses, do they respect you? Do they honor you? Are you getting paid the right kind of money for the job that you're doing? And I know there's a lot of people out there. You might be one of these people that I'm talking about. Not that I'm talking about you, it's just that I'm here trying to explain to you that we really need to think twice of the kind of job that we take. And, like, what kind of work are they giving you? And, like, is the job worth what you're getting paid? And a lot of times, with this 3D matrix, there are companies out there that really push their employees very hard, and in a form can be abusive to their employees. So, Starlight has definitely been there, done that. And, well, just recently, Starlight got hired for a job. So speaking of that job, this is why I'm actually bringing this topic up, is, are you getting paid what you're worth? And I know, like, yesterday was the Thanksgiving Day and stuff like that, and a lot of people took today off or had today off. Starlight did not get this day off. Black Friday? Why would you get a day off on Black Friday? I never understood that, but people do. The banks were closed today because of Black Friday. I can't go and put money in the bank today because it's Black Friday. But anyway, I really don't get that one bit at all. But I'm not gonna talk about that today. Is with your employer, do they respect you? Is there communication? Like, can you go to your boss and let them know that, you know what, I just did a job, for you, and I am a new employee, and, why am I carrying, like, in such a distance, you know, to go do a job where really there could be easier ways for me to work? There could be ways that you can have those things for me available where I don't have to carry it up and down stairs in a long distance. So is your employer abusing you and not respecting you, not thinking about you, not caring about you? Sometimes, there's a lot of them out there, where people are in a form being abused, being like pushed really hard on the work that they are doing, putting too much on either you're a guy or a female, and say, hey, you're getting paid that much an hour, and this is how you're going to do it. This is how I want you to do this job. But you're like, really? You're paying me that much to do that job? I mean, I started, like making this amount of money, and now you're adding more to the job. When I got hired, one job is easy and okay, like, not that I'm 100% pleased with what I'm making an hour, but now you're giving me a triple load on top of that, and it's extra, like it's not, like there's extra work to get involved into this other job, but now you're still going to pay me the same amount, where you might know what they charge, and, like for jobs, like what you're getting paid for. Are you getting paid what you're worth? Is the company that you're working for ripping you off? Are you even happy with the company? Like, and that's what you really got to ask. Are you really happy with the company that you're working for? Are, like, do they make your life easier by adjusting some things? Maybe they're not even aware of what is going on in their own company. And, should you talk to your boss and say, you know what? I don't know what you expect me to do, but this is too much for me. I understand some jobs, like, require that you're able to lift certain weight. Sometimes they will let you know what the job description is, like online, like when I got hired for this new job that I have, where it will say, well, you got to be able to lift it. Starlight could lift 50 pounds if she needed to, but how long do you expect me to hold that 50 pounds? Or what about 30 pounds? How far should I carry 30 pounds with my body, with my body weight? Here, Starlight is like, what? I just got weighed the other day. Shh. I'm like, was 118. I kind of up and down because of my situation where I am right now. But normally I would be 119, 120. I did that for years, but I have not gotten to that weight. But so with my weight, carrying like, you know, and, like, so you have to really be careful of your employer, and are they abusing you? Do they even know how they are treating you, or are they even respecting you, or are they just after the dollar bill, making all that money, where you're making them rich? So you really got to think twice. Is that job really worth what you're making? And what kind of work, even with your clothes, you know, um, when you wear your own clothes, are is your clothes getting ruined by the company that you work for? Like, does it ruin your sneakers or your pants or your shirt, because the job might be so dirty? You got to think of all that. Not that that's abuse, but really, if like, if you're dirtying your own clothes and they're getting all messed up, like really bad, you got to really think, is this owner, the boss of the company, are they respecting you? There's some places that will pay for uniforms for jobs because they know that the clothes are going to get ruined, by doing those certain jobs, or stained, with different stuff, so you got to really count all of that. And the travel, how far are you traveling? Are you getting paid to travel? I had, where I was getting hired, I'm like, there was one job I should get paid for the gas, if it's my own vehicle, traveling back and forth if I got to go to, different companies in one night. And I'm not really talking about getting to the job site. I'm talking about if you got other places to travel through the night. Is your employer um, being a good boss by making sure you get paid for your mileage on your car? That's, the gas in your car, the miles that you put on your car. Sometimes companies will actually have you use their vehicle, so then it's not your vehicle, or, putting miles on your vehicle or gas money. So you really got to understand, is your boss respecting you and caring enough about you as a human being? How about, like, when you get hired for a job, say if you get hired for a job and they say, well, you're going to start at 5 o'clock, and depending on what jobs you do that particular night, you should get done at work, like around 10 or 12 o'clock. And you're like, oh, yeah, those are perfect hours for me. I'll take that job. And, everything seems good in the beginning when you start. And then when you start working, you're thinking, you're looking at the time, and you're not, you're new with the job, and you're thinking, well, I should be getting done soon. And, like, I should be getting done around 12. That's what they said. That was the verbal agreement that, I should get those hours, throughout the week, up and down, you know, either to get out at 10 or get out around 12. And before you know it, it is 1 o'clock. And nobody even told you ahead of time and said, hey, you know what, we we want to ask and see if you could stay later, and instead of getting out at 12 o'clock, can you work an extra hour? Nobody calls you, nobody says, hey, can you work extra time? They didn't check and see, hey, is there anything you got to do the next day? Because eventually you do have to go to sleep, right? So it could get really bad with employers out there. How about this one? When you start at 5 o'clock and you're supposed to get done at around 10 or 12 o'clock, and before you know it, it's so you really got to think, is your boss abusing you and not respecting you, not communicating with you? Well, those are very important. And how much are you getting paid? Nobody even called you up and said, hey, we get something happened, somebody called out, and we need another job done tonight, like can you work till 2:30 in the morning? Where you don't get a phone call to find out, like, and before you know it, like, by the time you get done doing the 8-hour shift, you're really freaking tired. And now you're going to carry it around with you after you've done your 8 hours, which you really weren't even supposed to do 8 hours work. Are you being abused? Are you a slave to your company, the company that you work for? Those are the kind of things I'm talking about, as far as if is the boss that you're working for, are they taking advantage of you? Are they even thinking about your health and your body? You really got to ask yourself those questions. If you have an employer that has hired you and there's no communication going on, like to say, hey, like, Starlight, can you work till, like, possibly till 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, do you got anything going on the next day? Yeah, I actually do have something going on the next day. I have to go somewhere at 7 o'clock in the morning. So if I get done, like at 2:30 in the morning, and go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, how many hours of sleep are you actually getting for that next day? So you really got to ask yourself, is, how much are you getting paid for an hour? Are they even caring about your health? Like I said, like, especially if they know that you're a female, how much weight should a female carry, after she's been working? How many hours? Or even you guys, a lot of times what happens is that some of you, including Starlight, we're hard ass workers. We have no problem working and doing hard jobs, but when is it too much? When is it more than what you can handle? And how much are you getting paid to carry how much weight around? And yeah, you might, the description might have been like, can you carry that much weight? But how far, especially when there's ways that they can arrange things and change things around to make it easier for you? Are they trying to work with you? Are they trying to communicate with you? Do you communicate with your boss, the owner of the company that you work for, and say, you know what, I worked for you, and really from day one, I am really, really not impressed with your company. Is, there's, everything's upside down. And how much money are you making for an hour when, they're not respecting your health, or um communicating with you and letting you know, like, hey, somebody called out, And I understand that sometimes people don't call at a certain time, but when that boss finds out that somebody called out, don't you think that they should first thing call you up and say, "Hey, do you mind work making more money today, tonight? You know, what about a little add me a little bit more money for doing you a favor?" Because, you know, they ought to pay you a little extra because you are doing a favor if you said, "Yeah, I can work those extra hours tonight." But don't you think you ought to at least get a phone call to see if you can like to do those extra, get a little extra income, like that job and say, "Hey, you know what? Because you're actually doing me a favor by working those extra hours tonight, I will give you a little bit more money on this job here. I'll pay you extra because you're filling in. Otherwise, really, if I didn't do the job, who is going to?" So you really got to ask yourself, are you, whoopsie, being a slave to the company that you work for? And, like, I know like Starlight has got to definitely open up and talk, like, and this is what we have to do if things are not going right with the business that you work for, the boss, the owner. If you need to communicate and let them know because they might not know, what's going on, and you might be going to work and you might hear other employees complaining, bitching, saying this ain't worth the money that, I can't believe, like, and you hear them, and you're like, and you really do. You hear them. Sorry, I gotta turn this vehicle on. Oh, I can't do that. I'm gonna have to freeze a little bit. But yeah, you if you hear other employees bitching and complaining about the same boss and they've been working there, what, you said a year? Or oh, you like 2 years? And you have been putting up with this how long? You've been working for this company like this for how long? Does the company even care about you? Because I know, like, I don't know a lot about other kind of businesses, but I do know about cleaning businesses. If you have a cleaning company and there's different jobs, like when I go out and get jobs for a cleaning company, like because I had my own cleaning company, and I do know, because I had my own cleaning company and I had a boss that I went and talked to and get advice from, is I found out, like, if you were going to work for a company, well, you were going to work for a company like a construction company that, they bring dirt in like by the pile loads. The place gets really, 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 really super, super dirty. You charge more for that job because the job is super, super, super dirty. Now, a job that's not so dirty, where then you don't have to charge, you can charge the regular price. I do have a client of mine is that he never picks up anything in the house at all. Normally, a lot of people will pick up for the cleaner, like their sneakers like they put their sneakers away. They might put their jackets they're laying out around, like on the couch. Maybe they had stuff laying around and they kind of pick up the place a little bit before the cleaner gets there, like have the dishes done in their sink before the cleaner comes. That way they can clean the sinks out. Unless they say that they want you to clean the dishes, then that's a different story. But so there's different prices as far as a cleaner goes. And if you work for a cleaning company and you know those things and they want to hire you to get paid for a certain amount on the cleaner jobs, and you're like, okay, that's what we agreed to. But then, you go to another job that by the time you leave, you're a dust ball. You got dirt all over you. It was a hard job and ridiculous stuff, like the weight that you had to carry and hold, and like those are things when you feel like a slave and you're like, wow, and where it was more of a man job than a female job. So you got to really, really think about those things. Are you being a slave to the company that you work for? are they even caring about your health? And, they should treat females different than men, but at the same time, they shouldn't like overload on the males either. There's men out there, they have been slaves their whole life and they're so used to it, and they never think twice about it, and they never think, they might complain a lot about it, but they never might speak up and talk to their owner, the boss of the company, and say, you know what, I have been working here for such and such years, and I am getting younger here, and like, maybe that work is too much for you, and is the owner even paying you extra money for all the years that you've put in? Or, are they just giving you a little bit every year, just to keep you there? And that's what you got to watch out for, because there are people out there in this world, all over this world, some areas worse than others, even like foreigners that might move in the United States illegally. They abuse those people out here. They will give them lots of work and they keep them hidden, and because they did get out here, like, and they snuck out here. Believe me, if I lived in another country, I would been guilty of the same thing. I would have been sneaking in here. Sorry, but yeah, I would, if I was being abused in another country and if I found a way that I could sneak in the United States, you bet your butt I would try it too. So I don't really blame people, as long as that they're going to be decent people when they get here, and they're just going to follow the rules like with every what we got to follow. I don't blame you. But so there's a lot of foreigners that come to United States illegally. I noticed this a long time ago. So say if I was getting paid $11 an hour for a cleaning job, and which really, when you think about it, as a cleaner, when you say an hour, when you're getting paid, say $11 an hour, really, when you're getting paid by the hour, really, it's almost like you're getting paid $11 an hour plus 15 or a half hour more, depending on your speed, so really you're doing more than an hour's work because of your speed. I mean, especially when you work at the same job, like for a cleaning job, or even other jobs that you might work for. So getting paid by the hour really sucks, because I know what it's like for a cleaning business. So a lot of those foreigners were like, if I was getting paid $11 at the same company, which this was going on before, they might only get like $5 an hour, for the same work in the same time frame. I might have, like, depending on your speed, like Starlight, if we had two jobs, and the identical jobs and the identical same kind of dirt and garbage, everything was the same, and you had two different people, doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and it was all recorded, one person definitely would get that job done earlier than the other, even though they got every single thing done. So everybody's got different speeds at all kinds of jobs and work out there. So, like, that should not go on, but they do that out here, and they do that all around the world, is that they take those foreigners and they hide them, but then they pay them a little bit of money, and they can't even, like, you know, so they're almost like they escaped where they were, but really they're still a prisoner. They're still being a slave to the system. And it is really sick, and it's really sad, that this stuff goes on. Some of you might think it's funny and, think that they deserve that, but really that's not even being human to treat people like that. And I don't care what country they come from, because we're all human. We're all a spirit being having a human experience. So it doesn't matter what color skin you are and what country you come from. We should not be treated like slaves. And that's when we, the people, need to speak up, and talk to our boss, that hires you. And if they're abusing you by putting more hours without even calling and communicating with you and stretching you, because Starlight's really only used to working like 10 o'clock till like 4 o'clock, like a 2 hour job. Normally, let me see, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. normally when I had my own cleaning company, like I would work from 10 o'clock, and most of the time I was done before 5 o'clock. Sometimes I would work till 5 o'clock. But like when you're working, like, so that's not a lot of hours. But then when you're used to just those certain hours, and then you work for a company, and instead of working like I said, like from 5 to 10, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 hours. And now they added 5 more hours without even calling you. So it's a mental thing, is when you go to work, in your head you're thinking, okay, like you're physically, mentally, psychologically getting yourself ready for that job for the night. Like, okay, tonight, I got it. I'm gonna be there 5 hours. That's what was agreed. But then you're getting out 5 hours later. Is that fair for you to work 5 hours later and to have extra weight that really, humanly, you should not be carrying that much weight for your body? So you really got to ask yourself, is how much are you getting paid an hour for that job, when really, if you had your own business, you would be making, like, let me see, I got to figure out the math. My 12 extra dollars, if you had your own business. So really, is it really worth that much money? Like I said, really try to talk to your boss and let them know, like, you know what, this is not fair to me. Nobody called me up, to say you're going to work an extra 5 hours and get home, like by the time I drive home. And then, Starlight gets the munchies before she goes to bed. I got to meditate after, like I get done, and then finally get to bed. You got some winding down time before you hit the hay, which Starlight doesn't quite have hay in the back of this car. But really, like, is your employer treating you like a human being or a slave? Even though you don't have, like handcuffs, and they're not whipping you, but, there's a deep level to this, is to, when you're in that situation where you don't even know how the heck you're going to make it through the night, because of the pressure of being there, and you kind of got stuck. It's not like you got your own car to just drive away from the situation. So we really need to speak up to those bosses out there, the owners of these companies that are really abusing their employers, not respecting them one bit at all. So we really need to either communicate to the people, our boss, the owner of the company, and say, this is not fair for me. Nobody said this. It is way too much. Like, I am not gonna, if I put the weight of what I carried the other night, if I put that on a scale, I'm wondering, really, I want to go in the store and carry, like, pick up something like 30 pounds, see how heavy that is, and say, was I really carrying 30 pounds with one hand? And how many minutes was I carrying that weight? And upstairs, after already doing more than 8 hours of work, so my body is worn out. I'm already past my bedtime at 8 o'clock. So it's after my bedtime hours where I am working. And should I be really carrying that much weight when I already did 8 hours work? And I didn't get a break. I didn't hear anything about getting a break during the 10 hour. I mean, we drove from one job to another. Is that included a break there, or what? So, and I believe there's laws, like, like you can take a break after 6 hours of work. I didn't remember taking a break. So you really got to ask yourself, are you being treated fair at your job? And it is so important not to have your employer abuse you. And you might be thinking, Starlight, that you ought to have been with me. And so we need to put a stop to that kind of abuse with employers out there that want to get rich. So really use your voice. If they don't want to change the way things are going, you might want to really consider getting another job that actually is going to pay with what you're worth, and to respect you and communicate with you. Because it is really bad to see the things that go on out there in the world where the owners, the bosses, don't respect their employees and don't say, "Hey, you worked an extra 5 hours at you know, here, I will give you some extra money because you saved me." How much? How much money was that? Huh? You know, so the universe has put me in this situation because I got to witness other women, you know, that are going through this abuse, you know, where they're being totally drained of their life source here because they were complaining about how horrible this was for their body and stuff after the hours that they put in. You know, so you do not want to be a slave to the company, so you really need to speak up or get another job. And I really hope this is not you out there that you think that it's just normal, you know, that's what you got, you know, no. You do not have to put up with that kind of behavior from any employer out there, no boss out there. You are not a slave, you know, and this is why sometimes the universe will test you out. Say, huh, you know, like how long are you going to put up with that shit? Really? You know, how long are you going to let somebody, you know, like totally disrespect you and just use you, not even communicate with you, you know, not even be there for you, and not even to pay you extra money or any of that. So really think twice of the kind of job you have. Are you happy with the kind of job that you have? If not, you know, you really ought to consider looking for another job somewhere that actually will respect you and pay you what you deserve. So anyway, I hope you get a lot of help from this video, and I please give it a thumbs up, and also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or Kathy with a K Dingman, and you can share my videos with your friends, your family, or your pets. So anyway, really think twice of the kind of job you get, and listen to those other employers, you know, really hear what they got to say about their boss, you know, that I normally, when I do start a job, I'll say, well, how long have you worked here, you know? And I ask a lot of nosy questions, you know, but I keep my mouth shut. I don't talk about the employers or the, you know, the boss. I will do that when, you know, like behind the scenes. So you don't want to get into drama and gossiping at your job. So anyway, I really hope you get a lot of help from this video. Like I said, you can give it a thumbs up. This is Starlight. Mwah. Yeah, this is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.